Hi guys, welcome back to Crispy Life. Now, nobody ever talks about morning sickness, and that's partly because pregnant women experience morning sickness in so many different ways. Some have it really severe, where it's like vomiting all day, whereas others have it where they just feel like really nauseous. Now, I feel like I've gone through one of the most horrific times in my life. No one ever told me what it was really like. I never really knew what to expect. And because of that, I would say it hit me quite hard. It affected me physically, mentally, emotionally. Morning sickness alone was just horrific. So I wanted to make a video explaining what morning sickness was like for me, to give other people an insight in terms of what morning sickness can be like, the extremes of it. So morning sickness with me started at like 5 weeks. At 5 weeks, I started to feel really nauseous. So that meant like I was heaving a lot. I was going to the toilet and hanging over the toilet, just dry heaving all the time. Nothing really came out, it was just heaving, and that was making me feel tired. I didn't really want to eat. But that was it, and I thought, okay, this is what morning sickness is like, then that's fine. But then at around 6 weeks, that's when the vomiting for me really started. And they call it morning sickness, but for me it wasn't just morning sickness. I was sick, vomiting in the morning, mainly mornings and mainly evenings, but it could be at any time of the day. I'd say on average it was like 3-4 times a day. I would say the worst part for me was maybe like week 8 or week 9. That was really difficult, and it really took its toll on me. Just being sick all the time, like trying to eat new things and throwing it up every time I tried something new because I couldn't stomach what I'd eat beforehand, and just the feeling of being sick, like throwing up over the toilet and then struggling to catch your breath and swallowing the sickness and then sicking it back up again. It was just constant, and every single day was a battle. It felt like it was like a mountain to climb. It was so difficult. Now for me, I would say that certain things like started off the sickness. It might have been, for example, smells. So I would say I've got like a very sensitive nose anyway, but during pregnancy and during the period of morning sickness, I would say that my sense of smell was heightened. Everything smelled far worse. So even coming into my house smelled really bad. Smells that I've never smelled before in my house. I didn't want to walk in my house. I'd sit in my car for like 10-15 minutes trying to build up my energy to walk in the house because my house smelled, and I tried to clean it but I could still smell certain things lingering. The kitchen was a no-go area. The fridge in particular was a no-go area. It was the smells of like vegetables, or any smells if Chris had used any seasoning or anything in the kitchen, like onions, garlic, they were big no's, or any actual seasonings that you put on your food. Any smells like that would make me heave. And then there were certain smells like potatoes. Even now the smell of potatoes knocks me really sick. Basic things like using deodorant. I didn't want to use deodorant because it smelled so bad. Couldn't use perfumes because it smelled so strong. I would even say that I felt like I constantly smelled. I would wash several times a day. I would say that Chris smelled, which must have taken its toll on him because he said that everything smelled. But it really felt like so many things smell at that time, and I didn't want to breathe in because that would just start the sickness. Sometimes even the thought of eating something like that made me feel sick. When I thought of pasta, I could be physically sick thinking of pasta. Certain foods like eggs, couldn't touch eggs. Now I'm a pescatarian, so I only really eat like fish and veg and things like corn. Couldn't touch fish. Fish knocked me sick. The texture, the taste wasn't nice at all. I would say that the amount of fluids that I was taking was really low at that time because I couldn't drink much at all. So before I was pregnant, I used to have like a cup of tea most mornings and maybe even a cup of coffee throughout the day. Couldn't drink tea or coffee, couldn't stomach the taste. Even things like water, I didn't like the taste of water. It tasted really sweet. Talking about sweet things like chocolate, couldn't stomach chocolate. Chocolate tastes disgusting. So like they say that women either have food cravings or food aversions, and I would definitely say that I was on the food aversion side. I had no cravings at all. Most things just knocked me sick, physically making me sick. And when I say like physically making me sick, I would eat my dinner and then I would throw it up straight away, like 2 minutes after I'd finished the whole meal. So even if it didn't smell really bad, it didn't have a strong smell, I would still throw the meal up. So that made me feel really like lethargic, really weak. And then the taste of sickness in your mouth, like I ended up like brushing my teeth, and I didn't like the taste of toothpaste, but I was scrubbing my tongue with my toothbrush to try and get the taste out of my mouth. So that really wasn't pleasant times. Right, well, I hope this video has been really helpful. That was my truthful and honest review of morning sickness and how I experienced it. If you liked it, give it a big thumbs up, give me a comment, let me know if you experienced morning sickness, if you went through anything like I did. Let's start like a little chat on here. But anyway, thank you for watching. I'm going to do more videos in terms of updates, where I'm up to, so stay tuned. See you next time. Bye.